Hello everyone, it's Celia, Chelsea West Village Real Estate. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to take a stroll through the Meatpacking District. So the Meatpacking District is nestled between Chelsea and the West Village. So the borders are West 16th Street in Chelsea by the Chelsea Market. It extends down to 10th Avenue by the Hudson River and across the Horatio and Washington Streets in the West Village. Before I continue with the tour, I'd just like to ask, in the event you're getting value out of the content, if you'd kindly consider subscribing to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so across the street, you'll see a new office complex. Prior to this, however, that was a line of historic row houses. They were demolished 2 years ago to make way for this new office complex. Beside the office complex, we have Homestead Steakhouse. Homestead Steakhouse is one of the oldest restaurants in New York City, and it dates back to 1868. So a good way to spot it is by the cow that's in front of it. There you get a better view of the cow. So back then, in the late 1800s, this area was one of the world's largest meat and poultry receiving markets. We had over 250 facilities. Above the T-Mobile store, you see those steel awnings? Hopefully you can see it in the video. So those steel awnings you'll see on several, it's actually above the Chelsea Wine Vault also. So those are remnants dating back to when the slabs of meat were actually hung on those facilities where the meat was processed. We're now approaching the Chelsea Market. So the Chelsea Market was formerly the site of the Nabisco factory. This is where our beloved Nabisco Oreo cookies and saltine crackers were manufactured. If you're interested in learning more about the Chelsea Market, do check my video when I actually take you inside to get a peek at what it is about. So right here we have signs of some of the things that are located inside the market. So in the 1850s, Nabisco operated here. However, in the 1950s, they moved out. And this building lay dormant until the 1990s, when it was developed and transformed into the Chelsea Market as we know it today. So the Chelsea Market is a fabulous place to both shop, dine, and of course people watch. Chelsea Market is owned by Google. Google has several tenants that are upstairs in the market. Across the street we have the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. So they have wonderful, unique coffee blends in there, and of course pastries to go along. There's also a cocktail bar upstairs. If you're interested in learning more about the Reserve Roastery, you can check out my video on that also. So we're very lucky today. The weather is mild, the temperature is in the 40s. So we have a lot of people who come out and they sit outside. So Los Tacos is a very, very popular spot to get tacos in the Chelsea Market. When I passed by earlier today, the line was extremely long. but they say that's a sign that food is delicious when you have long lines. Directly ahead, you see a piece of the High Line. So back in the day, the High Line is where the freight train track ran. And you'll notice it's running directly into the former Nabisco factory. So the freight train would go directly through these buildings, delivering the produce, the dairy products, and of course the meat to the various facilities. So on another day, I will actually do a trip with you on the High Line. So today the High Line is a very popular elevated park, but back then it was a freight train. And as I mentioned, that was how produce, meat products, and dairy was delivered from the Hudson Valley region to the west side of Manhattan, where we are right now. So today, this area, as you can see, is a very fashionable, trendy part of town. It's filled with a lot of upscale boutiques, restaurants, and other retail shops. And that transition occurred in the 1990s. So we just have a few warehouses that actually process meat remaining. So I'm going to walk you by there so you get to see them. Prior to this area being developed for the meatpacking, this was actually a residential area. So back then in the 1800s, there were numerous row houses that were built that served as tenements for immigrants. After a while, the area was converted to an industrial place where the meat packers moved in and other forms of industries. The industries, however, declined starting in the 1950s with the advent of transportation in terms of the trucking industry. So once the highway was built, many people left in search of higher and better opportunities in the trucking field. And that led to the decline of this area. Afterwards, in the 70s through the 90s, this area was a bit rough. It's quite a bit of prostitution and other unsavory activities that were taking place. However, in the late 1990s, a lot of top upscale boutiques started moving in, and that started the transformation of the area. The High Line, you can get a glimpse of it, the stairs are going up, was also instrumental in the rebirth, or reincarnation I should say, of this area. So once the High Line was constructed, a lot of upscale galleries moved into the area, and of course wonderful luxury condos started being constructed around it. So now we're getting to pass Diane von Furstenberg's boutique. Von Furstenberg, you might remember, is a fashion designer. She was one of the first people to actually return to this area and establish her boutique. So across the street we have some other upscale boutiques. Diane von Furstenberg and her husband, media magnate Barry Diller, were two of the most influential people in the redevelopment of this area. So they have contributed millions towards the High Line and also Little Island. So Little Island is another outdoor park. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can check out my video on that. So if you look across the street, hopefully you can see it, the steel awnings. So all those date back to the 1800s when slabs of meat were being hung there. So around the corner from von Furstenberg's boutique, we have Tesla. Across the street, we have Samsung. Let's give you a look at Tesla. Right, so across the street by the High Line, we have the Standard Hotel. If you look straight ahead, take a little further down, we have Little Island, which I mentioned to you a few minutes ago. So Little Island was generously funded by Diane von Furstenberg's husband, Barry Diller. He donated $260 million for its construction. So that is Little Island. Okay, so I'm going to take you around the corner where we're going to have a quick look at all that remains of the slaughterhouses dating back to the 1800s. So back then, I mentioned to you there are over 250 processing plants. Today we have fewer than 12.
Yeah, it's like bitter and then also like this is great.
So now we're at the corner of Little West 12th Street and Washington Street. Directly ahead of us, we have Hector's Cafe and Diner. So this cafe and diner primarily caters to people who are working in the meatpacking facilities. So around the corner here, you get a glimpse of the few meatpacking facilities that are still in operation. Behind the meatpacking facilities, you can see the Whitney. So the Whitney Museum is a very popular spot now in the Meatpacking District for people to visit. The Whitney Museum specializes in artwork that was done by American artists. So now we're approaching Gansevoort Street. Gansevoort Street was named for former American Revolutionary War commander Peter Gansevoort.
I know. Like, did I was on the standard? Remember, this is the wiki, right?
Okay, so there we have the street erected in his memory. So back then, Commander Gansevoort actually had his fort built here. One of my favorite publishers is across the street. We have Asseline. So Asseline is a pop-up shop. It came here in June of 2023. It was supposed to have departed the end of December 2023. I'm not sure how much longer they'll be here, but I'm happy they are. Beautiful travel books and other specialty books. So behind those trees, that townhouse says Fort Gansevoort. That's where the fort was once for Commander Gansevoort erected. So this area during the summertime is where we have a lot of outdoor performers. So they tend to be musicians, a wide array of music that they play. So it's a nice place to come at lunchtime or after work, grab something to eat, and just unwind. And of course, people watch. So the people who rent around here, on average, the monthly rents are over $5,000. But it's primarily, as you can tell, a commercial area. It's a nice seafood restaurant, Catch, across the street by Sephora. Okay. So now we've come to the end of our tour of the Meatpacking District. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we go to explore another fun place in the Chelsea, West Village areas. Until then, stay safe, take care.